Hi, welcome to Making All the Plans. I'm Connie, and if we haven't met before, I'm a busy mom of two active kids, and both my husband and I have full-time careers. My goal is to share with you how I stay on top of all life throws at me in one planner so that you might be able to do the same. So I have my small post-its, a permanent and erasable pen, my stencil with the square boxes. This is from Happy Planner, and then my HB90 notebook, which is a Leuchtturm. And I am working on my third quarter in my HB90 notebook, and I'm about out of pages, but I'm going to be able to finish up this quarter in this book before I move to a new book for next year. So I'm going to go ahead and start updating my Q4 tasks, and I'm going to start with my making all the plans items. I do work in reverse chronological order so that all of my post-it notes can stack up in the correct way. And I'm going to just start by redating these blank pink post-its. The pink post-it notes are for any videos that aren't date dependent, although I do like to try to schedule out when I will be putting out videos. And I will also put in a disclaimer here that I plan for 5 videos a week, but many of the weeks, especially during soccer season, I only have the time to get 2 to 3 up. And I don't beat myself up for that, but I do like to be prepared and have ideas ready if I do have that time. I do keep a content calendar in Notion, but I do like to use the post-it system so that I can keep track of things, and writing things down really does help me get things done. My teal post-its are things that are date dependent, so any of my weekly videos or monthly videos go on teal post-it notes, and those I just go ahead and write in permanent ink because the date doesn't really shift for those. I also keep those titles consistent, so even though I'm writing in shorthand here, I do know which videos I'm talking about. I normally leave those pink ones blank because I do tend to shift content around quite a bit, and instead of rewriting them over and over again, I just write them down as I get closer to when that date is coming. So most of the time, those pink slips do not get written on until I move them over to my weekly planner. And for each of these video post-it notes, I do draw in 5 boxes, and each box represents a task that I need to complete for the video. So the 5 boxes represent scripting, videoing, editing, scheduling, and then the heart is for watching and liking the video. So every time I complete part of the tasks, I go through and check them off on the post-it notes once I have them over in my weekly planner. So for making all the plans especially, I do like to only plan out 1 month ahead because things do change quite dramatically from month to month depending on what sports season we're in or if I have to travel for work. So I do like to try to just look 1 month ahead on my HB90 planner, but I do schedule out further on my content calendar in Notion. It's just much easier to move things around on the digital calendar than it is to move post-it notes and rewrite dates in my HB90 notebook. So I do focus on just 1 month at a time, and I do try to write these out about a week in advance of when the month begins. So I will link an entire playlist of the HB90 videos that I've put together down below. I will also link all of Sarah Cannon's information. She is the brains behind HB90, and I really liked her videos before I even bought the course. It just was very helpful to look at it as a whole and how she was using it before I completely bought into it. And the best part about once I bought in was her giving us permission to tweak the system as necessary to make it work best for us. So I really appreciated her giving us that permission. Not that somebody needs to give you permission to tweak something to make it work better for you, but many of the times when I take courses, I feel like I really just have to follow it to the letter or else it won't work out. But she gives you full permission to tweak the system as necessary. One key item about the Post-it notes themselves is if you plan on moving them around as much as I do in my videos, they really need to be the Post-it notes, super sticky Post-its. That is definitely something that Sarah and I agree on. We also wish that the Post-it notes came in more colors, but we'll take what we can get. Sarah does cut hers down to size, but I usually don't trim mine unless I want something smaller than this 2x2. So I'm about halfway through the month of making these Post-its for my videos. Let's just work through the rest of these. I'll put on a little music. Hopefully you are doing some task planning as well, and then I'll jump back on when these are complete. So I have completed my videos for the month, and now I can move on to other tasks that I need to complete for making all the plans. So here is the only time where I will cut down post-it notes, and that's just because I don't need a full 2 by 2 in order to note some of these things that I need to complete. However, I don't like those little flags because they don't have enough sticky on it. So I do prefer cutting off the bottom part of a 2 by 2 post-it note and only using that top sticky part. So the first thing that I'm writing down are stickers, and then I will write boxes in so that I go through each week of the month and print out some stickers each week. That is a new goal of mine, just so that it helps me be prepared to do all my other layouts and things like that throughout the month. The next thing that I need to write down is monthly tracking. I do like to go through and write down my numbers and track those. And then I do like to take a deep dive into the analytics just to see what people are watching the most of so that I can put out content appropriately. And the other thing that I like to do at the beginning of the month is firm up the following month's calendar. So I would really like to firm up the December content calendar. December isn't as hard of a month to come up with content just because you're getting ready for 2025, so that will not be difficult. And then at the end of each month, I like to go through income and expenses. So I will do that at the end of the month. But I do like that these cut down post-its will fit better on my weekly plan. And up until now, I have put Instagram and then my admin work for comments and admin on two separate post-its, but I think I'm just going to put them all on one post-it for the week. So I'll do my comments and admin and I'll put 3 boxes down for that. And then I'll put Instagram and I'll put the 4 boxes down for that. And that way I'm not using as many post-its. Not that I'm trying to conserve post-its, but when I do put them on my weekly spread, I'm quickly running out of room because I like to work on the current week's videos as well as the following week's videos. And so those take up a lot of space in my planner, and I want to make sure that I am using that space wisely. So for the next 5 weeks, I will combine these into one post-it note and see how it works. And I have not been great about Instagram, but I would like to start getting better at it. I'm just really not comfortable producing anything quickly. And so it takes a long time just to put out one reel or one post. And I know that it will get faster the more that I do it. It's just, this is the busy season. So I have kind of let it just slide to the back. And now that soccer will be slowing down this month, hopefully I'll be able to get back into it this month and start getting more comfortable as I proceed to make more videos and posts and reels and all the things. I do want to mention that this whole process of laying out my tasks for the month, although I did have my content calendar already put together, this took about a month. So if you do your HB90 pre-planning and your goal setting and all of that stuff, when you do go to lay out your tasks, it is not that time consuming if you do all the hard work ahead of time. But I do think that the investment in time now does save me time as I go through the month. So I definitely find that it's worth it for me. And I am reaching my goals faster than if I did not take these steps. There are ways to put post-it notes through your printer, so if you don't want to handwrite things, you can use your printer to print on post-it notes. You could also just use a digital Kanban board to do these things, but I really like to use my planner as part of my Kanban board method. So writing the post-it notes out are very important to me. So you need to figure out what works for you. Like Sarah says, do what works for you. But I like to share what works for me and how I've tweaked her system. So you can go through and you can look at everybody else and how they use the system and then tweak it so that it works best for you. So now I'm going to flip over to my personal and my home goals. My home goals I already wrote out for the entire quarter, so those will stay the same. There are still some in my planner, and again, those will stay the same. So these items, the supplements, the meal prep, I am just throwing those away, and maybe we'll start those fresh at the beginning of the year. But for now, really all I can handle are weigh-ins and trying to keep my weight, maintaining it, and possibly losing a few pounds here and there. But I'm not diving into anything too strenuous at this point. I'm trying to ease back into life after me having COVID, my son having a concussion, and there have been some other things going on. So I'm trying to be kind to myself and not overwhelm myself, just ease back into things. And since my routines weren't super strong, they just kind of fell apart. So I will start those fresh when I'm ready, maybe next month, maybe January. But again, I'm trying to be kind to myself and gentle to myself. So, one thing at a time. Let's just focus on making slightly healthier choices right now, and then we will start building those other routines back up. And again, just cutting these post-it notes down to 1 inch by 2 inches and leaving the sticky part on this post-it side so that it will stick better, but just don't need as much room. So I will go ahead and just use one per week, and I will do a weigh-in once per week and measurements once a month. And then I will be done laying out my tasks for the month of November. And then I will flip forward a page and you'll be able to see what I have completed so far in October. And then I do have a space for November and December completed tasks. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them down in the comments below. If you like this video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.